The distress beacon pulsed weakly across the frozen wastes of Kepler 4 for to be, a dying plea in the cosmic void. Most ships would have ignored it after all. The Vrocketh were known throughout the galaxy as merciless predators. Their wolf-like features and razor-sharp instincts, making them the most feared mercenaries in 5 systems. But Scarlet wasn't most pilots. Alfred, are you seeing this? Scarlet's fingers danced across the holographic display of her salvage vessel. The Defiant Hope, the signal originated from a crashed Vrocketh transport vessel half buried in ice. Her navigation AI, Alfred, manifested as a shimmering blue avatar beside her console. His programming gave him a distinctly British accent and an unfortunate tendency toward pessimism. I am indeed Scarlet, and I must advise against investigation. Vrocketh survivors would likely view us as prey rather than rescuers. When has that ever stopped us? Scarlet grinned, already adjusting their trajectory. At 28 she'd spent the last decade hauling cargo through the frontier sectors, and she'd learned one universal truth. A species didn't matter when someone needed help. The Defiant Hope touched down 300 meters from the wreckage. Through her viewport, Scarlet could see the transport's hull torn open like shredded foil. Whatever had brought them down had been catastrophic. Life signs, she asked, suiting up in her thermal gear for weak signatures. Scarlet, their physiology is deteriorating rapidly. Vrocketh require temperatures above freezing, and the ambient temperature is currently minus 63 degrees. Then we'd better hurry. The trek across the ice felt like walking through broken glass. Wind screamed across the barren landscape, and Scarlet's breath formed instant crystals in her helmet. When she reached the wreck, she found the first Vrocketh collapse just inside the breached hull. Even dying, they were magnificent. Standing nearly 7 feet tall with thick silver fur and elongated snouts filled with sharp teeth, the Vrocketh looked like the dire wolves of Earth's ancient past had learned to walk upright and reach for the stars. This one's amber eyes tracked Scarlet's approach with a mixture of pain and defiance. Easy, Scarlet said softly, knowing her translator would convey the intent, if not the words. I'm here to help. The Vrocketh's lips curled back, revealing fangs, but the growl that emerged was weak, pathetic. Scarlet saw the truth in those fading eyes, not aggression, but fear. They expected her to finish what the crash had started. Instead, she activated her emergency thermal blanket and wrapped it around the alien's trembling form. Alfred, I need the medical pod ready for full thermal support. Scarlet, the Vrocketh are classified as hostile. Alfred, now. The AI's avatar flickered with what might have been the digital equivalent of a sigh. Medical pod standing by. Finding the other 3 took 20 agonizing minutes. 2 were younglings, barely adolescent by Vrocketh standards, huddled together in the cargo bay. The 4th was an elder first streaked with gray, who'd positioned himself between the younglings and the Hullbreacher final. Futile gesture of protection, Scarlet worked methodically, wrapping each in thermal gear and using her portable grav sled to transport them back to her ship. The younglings whimpered but didn't resist. The elder watched her every move with eyes that had seen too much suffering. By the time she sealed the Defiant Hope's airlock, Scarlet was exhausted, but there was no time to rest. She spent the next hour in the medical bay working with Alfred to stabilize her patients. The ship's systems, designed for human emergencies, required constant adjustment for Vrocketh physiology. Their core temperatures are rising, Alfred reported, though I must note that when they regain full consciousness, we may face a rather hostile situation. Then we'll deal with it. Scarlet monitored the vitals of the first Vrocketh she'd found. His charts showed improvement, the dangerous hypothermia receding. What were they doing out here anyway? Analyzing their ship's logs now. Alfred paused. Oh dear, they were a family unit being relocated to a penal colony. Their crime, refusing to participate in raids against civilian vessels. Scarlet's jaw tightened. She'd heard the stories. Vrocketh who rejected their species' violent reputation were treated as traitors, cast out or worse. Pacifists indeed, rare among their kind, and apparently not tolerated. 3 hours later, the elder Vrocketh's eyes opened. Scarlet stood in the medical bay doorway, hands visible and empty, letting him take stock of the situation. His gaze moved from the medical equipment keeping him alive to the younglings sleeping peacefully in adjacent pods, then finally to Scarlet. His voice was a deep rumble, translated by the ship's systems. Why would a human risk herself for Vrocketh? Scarlet moved closer, slowly. Because you needed help. That's reason enough. The elder's expression, difficult to read on such alien features, seemed to shift. Our people have killed many humans, taken your ships, your cargo, your lives. I know. Scarlet pulled up a chair. But you're not them. and I'm not about to let anyone die in the cold when I can prevent it, regardless of what they look like or where they're from. This is not rational. Maybe not, Scarlet smiled, but it's human. The elder was silent for a long moment, his amber eyes studying her with new intensity. I am called These are my children, and my father. We were exiled for refusing violence. Scarlet, and this is my ship. You have saved my family. Scarlet, we owe you a life debt. You don't owe me anything, she said, standing. But if you're looking for a fresh start, I know some colonies on the rim that don't care much about species politics. They need good people, peaceful people. Vraka's ears perked forward, a sign of surprise. Alfred had informed her, you would do this. Help us further. Why not? Scarlet shrugged. I'm heading that direction anyway. As she left the medical bay, Alfred's avatar appeared beside her. You do realize you've just adopted a family of wolf. Don't be dramatic, Alfred. I'm programmed to calculate probabilities, Scarlet, and the probability of this becoming significantly more complicated is approximately 97%. Scarlet grinned, settling back into her pilot's chair as she plotted a course for the frontier colonies. Outside, the stars beckoned with infinite possibilities. Good, she said. Life's more interesting that way. Behind her, in the medical bay, Raka watched the humans' retreating form with something approaching wonder. His children would live. His father would see another dawn. And all because one human had chosen mercy over fear. Perhaps, he thought, there was hope for the galaxy yet. The defiant hope turned away from Kepler-4 for to be carrying its unlikely passengers toward a new future, one built not on violence or fear, but on the simple, radical choice to help those in need, because that, in the end, was the most human thing of all.